Hey there, good people, and welcome back to another video from JoshuaLappinFitness.com. Today I just wanted to take a few minutes to give you my recommendations on the best resources for Hardgainers. At JoshuaLappinFitness.com we spend a significant amount of time discussing the Hardgainer situation and dilemma and how to overcome that. Just for you guys who don't know, a Hardgainer is someone who is actively seeking to gain strength and muscular size in the gym, but is having trouble doing so, usually due to genetic factors and being an ectomorph or kind of a naturally skinny person. So our focus is to help those people. And today I just wanted to bring you some of my top resources for Hardgainers that can really help you get going in the right direction. So I've got a wide variety of sources here, and they all, I think, can be beneficial, but they all come at the problem at different angles, which is quite interesting. So the first one I'm going to recommend is both a website and an application for your phone called Stronglifts. Actually, Stronglifts.com if you want to visit their website, and if you go to the App Store, you should be able to find their app as well. I think it may be a paid app. I think it's like $10 or maybe more to actually get the app, but I think it's worth it. You can see mine right here. It's kind of in the blackout mode right now because of the time that I filmed this, but first of all, the Stronglift concept is pretty simple. It does follow most of the basic principles that I recommend for Hardgainers, and that you train less than normal bodybuilders and strength people. You use major compound exercises, and you focus on progressive resistance, recovery, and good nutrition. So the foundation of Stronglifts is you work out 3 times a week with a day of rest in between each workout and 2 days of rest between the final workout. So if you work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, obviously you're going to have Tuesday and Thursday as rest, and then Saturday and Sunday, which is very good for the Hardgainer. The biggest, well, there's a lot of challenges for the Hardgainer, but probably the number one challenge for the Hardgainer is a recovery system, and that they just do not recover very quickly. So we need a lot more rest between our workouts. So the Stronglifts kind of addresses that issue. Also, they recommend that you do only compound exercises. The program is heavily focused on squats, which you will squat every workout, which I think is good for beginners, but for more advanced it may not be beneficial. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But you're primarily going to be doing squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, and barbell row. And the idea is you're going to be doing 5 by 5, which is 5 sets for 5 reps on each exercise, except for the deadlift, which you do 1 set of 5. And you try to add between 5 and 10 pounds to the bar each workout. For deadlift, you're trying to add 10 pounds per workout. Up to a certain threshold, then you kind of have to slow down. And on the other exercises, you're trying to add 5 pounds every time you work out. So basically, if you can perform all your 5 sets and 5 reps with good form, and you can get the weights without too much trouble, then you go ahead and add 5 pounds to the exercise the next time you do a workout. They do have an A and B workout, which basically workout 1 is you do squats, deadlifts, and overhead press, and then the other workout you do squats, bench press, and barbell row. So that's kind of how that program goes. Said they put a good emphasis on recovery with those 4 days of recovery built into the program. If you go to the website, they do also recommend eating whole foods, and don't discourage supplements, but they want to make sure you're getting a good foundation of whole foods before you even try supplements. Supplements are what they should be, supplements. The base of your diet, however, is a strong whole food base. So my overall thoughts on Stronglifts is I think there's a lot of positive benefits. I think if you're just starting out in this journey as a hard gainer or as an entry-level bodybuilder, strength trainer, I think Stronglifts is a good starting place. You actually always start with a bar too for all your exercises, so you're starting pretty light. So you can really work up to this program, and I think it's helpful in the beginning. However, I do think there's a couple of drawbacks to the program. First one is I don't think there's enough recovery time, especially when you start getting more advanced. As a beginner, it should be okay, I think, but once you start getting into the heavier weight ranges, like when you start going over 200 pounds, I've found that I need actually more days of rest, especially since you're squatting every workout. That's really tough on your legs and your lower back. So that's one thing I would caution you about the program. The other thing that kind of worries me about the program is I don't think you can't continuously add 5 pounds to the bar forever. I think at some point you're going to have to use smaller increments, which is something I recommend to hard gainers called microplating. And just give me a second right quick. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is a microplate. This is 0.75 pounds. So 2 of these would be 1.5 pounds. So I think you'll get to the point where you're going to have to start using microplating on your bars for your exercises if you want to continue to have progressive resistance. So that's another criticism I have on the Stronglifts program. Other than that, like I said, I think it's a good starting point if you're a beginner or if you've tried other programs and not had success. I think Stronglifts might be a good option for you. I've done the program several times, but with modifications. Like I said, I have to put extra days of rest in between my sets and in between my reps and in between days of training. And you'll get to the point where you can't continuously add weight. So, like I said, if you want to give that a shot, I definitely recommend it. There is some good material there, and I think it's a good foundation for the hard gainer to follow. However, once you become a little bit more advanced, there's other programs I would recommend you check out and other resources. Another one I would recommend for more advanced people is Stuart McRoberts' books and series. This one is the Bronze series. And in this, some of the major themes of this book are being able to actually put on significant amounts of muscle weight by using this training philosophy. So this training philosophy is somewhat similar to the Stronglifts, however it's been modified pretty heavily in a positive direction, in my opinion. So the concepts are relatively similar. You want to train with less frequency than traditional programs. You want to use major compound exercises, and you want to have whole foods as the base of your diet and caloric intake, and you want to have a very significant emphasis on recovery. So the way that this program and series meets those needs is, first of all, they recommend that you only work out twice a week, which I think is a very major step of improvement in the right direction. In fact, this book goes as far as even recommending that you only work out 3 times in a 2-week period. So there's a lot of heavy emphasis on rest, and he spends quite a bit of time just discussing rest and recovery and tips on how to get better at that, which is something you should definitely check out as a Hardgainer. They also talk about, again, using compound exercises, and the major exercises that they recommend for muscle building are kind of the familiar ones, the squat and the deadlift. However, they do recommend that you consider using the trap or hex bar or parallel grip bar. There's one over here. I don't think you can see it at the moment, but I'll be doing some more videos on that. But basically, in this program, you alternate between the squat and deadlift. So one workout you do the squat, and the next workout you do the deadlift with modifications. You also do usually an upper body movement such as the dip or the bench press for the chest, triceps, and kind of shoulders. And then you do chins or rows for the back. And occasionally you can sprinkle in some work for your shoulders, but that's primarily the exercises that you do. Both the Stronglifts and the Brawn workout series recommend that you cycle these programs, which means you can't do this stuff continuously throughout your whole workout routine because it puts a heavy strain on your recovery system, and the emphasis is on progressive resistance and continually adding weight, which it's hard to do, to continuously add weight and continuously lift heavy all the time, especially as a Hardgainer. Your body, again, needs time for recovery. So the recommended time periods on both Stronglifts and the Brawn series are anywhere between 3 to 6 months, which I found is pretty consistent that you stay on this routine. So definitely something to consider there. But there's a lot more information in here. It's a really interesting concept, and we'll probably be talking more about this in the future, but I definitely recommend that you check this out as a resource for a Hardgainer. And then finally, the third and final resource I'm going to recommend today is the Hardgainer Solution by Scott Abel. And Mr. Abel's philosophy on Hardgainers goes a complete 180-degree turn of direction from the other philosophies that I just talked about. In his opinion and philosophy on Hardgainers, again, he does put emphasis on less training frequency. Like I said, it's a very common theme, so I think you can take that into the bank. He recommends working out 3 times a week. However, his workout philosophy and principle has to do with more of supersetting and lightweight, high rep workouts to actually pump the muscle with blood and to engorge it, which then encourages growth. So this is kind of more what I would say is in line with a lot of more traditional bodybuilding routines and workouts with the modification for the Hardgainers. Also within the routines, he encourages you to never go to your max on any workout, and that you leave kind of a little bit of gas in the tank left over after each workout. And he recommends that you don't go into an oxygen deficit, which kind of means that you're not lifting so hard and heavy that you're having trouble breathing after the end of the set. So there is a theory in bodybuilding that the pump, as they say it, if you've seen like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Pumping Iron series, the pump is kind of what you're going for as a bodybuilder. You want to pump the muscles, pump them full of blood, and that encourages growth. And that's kind of what the Hardgainer Solution is all about. So definitely an interesting concept that departs from kind of the traditional Hardgainer philosophy. He also puts a heavy emphasis on nutrition. Again, common theme, whole foods, minimal supplements. So I think that's another thing you can take to the bank as well. And he's also got quite a bit of workouts pre-made for you here, as well as some good information on caloric intake and some sample diets. So definitely something to check out. So after all those philosophies and different approaches to training, what I recommend is this. Being that you can only go about 6 months on an intense progressive resistance routine, what I have found works really well for me, and what I'll be going into more in the future, is during the fall months, usually starting in October and going through about March, I do more of the Stronglifts kind of bronze series workouts, where I'm doing heavy compound exercises and really focusing on strength, size, and just adding weight to the bar as much as I can. After March, when spring starts, usually from about March until September, my training shifts and I go into more of a traditional bodybuilding kind of toning, shaping, cutting mode to correspond with the seasons. So, you know, during fall, you're wearing long sleeves, coats all the time anyway, so nobody's checking you out. But when you get into the spring and summer, I tend to like to cut down a little bit and lean out and have that more of a ripped looking physique. So fall, I'm using Stronglifts or bronze series. Spring and summer, I'm using more of Hardgainer Solution type programs. That way I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting strength training, bulking, and I'm getting toning, shaping, and cutting along the way. So plus going through 6-month intervals, it's not a huge shift in the diet from day or from cycle to cycle. So I mean, there is a change in caloric intake and things like that, but it's more gradual. It's not a spiky up and down thing that's going to ruin your metabolism and ruin your body. So those are my top recommendations for Hardgainers as resources to check out. But of course, number 4, and probably the most recommended resource that I haven't discussed yet, is actually JoshuaLappinFitness.com. That's my website that I own and operate, and there we actually go into depth more about our philosophies, and I give you even more detailed information, more detailed obviously than I can put in this one video. So at my website, we do focus on Hardgainers. We have a variety of programs for Hardgainers. We experiment with the programs for Hardgainers, and we actually will take them, perfect them, and modify them and make them better. So definitely worth checking out. We also have great tips on recovery. We go into a lot of detail. We've got food recommendations, caloric calculations, meal plans there for you. So take all the guesswork and all the confusion out of what you need to be doing and how you need to be training. So definitely check that out as the top resource for hardgainers on the internet. And that's what we're going for, and that's what we're growing towards, as being the #1 resource for hardgainers on the internet. So JoshuaLappinFitness.com. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's getting a little bit lengthy, but I wanted to get you a lot of detailed information and resources that you can get your hands on now to start working and growing towards a better physique and a better body for you. So again, this is Josh from JoshuaLappinFitness.com. Please check us out. Hope to see you soon, and we'll talk to you again very soon.